have this absolutely wonderful lobby of the ITC Grand, isn't that right? The ITC Central Grand, right here in the middle of Mumbai. And at the moment with us are two absolutely lovely ladies, Sanjana John and of course Miss Universe Natalie Glebova. Did I get the name right?
Yes, you did. You got
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for agreeing to see us.
It's my pleasure.
Sanjana, thank you very much. We've had you before on the channel. We've talked to you before on the channel, wherein you've been involved in so many things with regard to Miss Universe. Could you tell us a bit about the AIDS awareness program that you're doing?
Well, basically, we started last year, as you know, coming to India. But the year before that, with Emilia Vega, who was Miss Universe at that point, 2003, right. We had done an event in Philadelphia with M. Night Shyamalan, and there it was for Helping Hands, which was an organization in India, and we saw that this was a growing problem, and the epidemic was something that we should do something about to control. So last year, with the help of the Miss Universe organization, we were able to bring Jennifer Hawkins, who came on your show.
That's right, you did.
Yes, and it was amazing. We felt that there was definitely a good response from the audience, and we felt that we could make it much better. And when I met Natalie, I saw that it was something that was full of passion and conviction, and she really felt the need to come and do this.
Is that right? Is that really right?
That is absolutely correct. Me and Sanjana actually share a big passion for this problem, for this cause. And I'm very happy to be working with such a passionate individual. And I commend her for her work and for all her efforts that she's doing.
Right, now this is your first visit to India.
It is, it is.
Right, so let's get this question out of the way, which I'm sure you must have been asked just about by every interviewer who meets you. I mean, what is your impression of India? So let's talk about that first, and then we come down to what you really think is, in terms of this AIDS project, what is it that your contribution ought to be like? First, about India.
Well, I've got to tell you, it's lived up to all of my expectations, because I've heard a lot about India from a lot of my friends. As you know, Toronto is such a multicultural city. We have a large Indian community. My dad has been to India twice in the 70s, and he's told me a lot about it. So I was really excited to begin with to come to India. Always wanted to visit, always wanted to experience the culture and really learn about the country. And already I've been to 2 cities, and my experience has been fantastic. The people have been nothing but friendly and hospitable. The food is amazing, and I get to wear beautiful Indian designs.
That's really lovely. Beautiful Indian designs, as in you actually wore a sari? Did you wear a sari?
I did wear a sari.
Like somebody helped you tie it up, of course?
That's right, that's right. It was the first time putting it on, so I had no idea how to wear it.
Right, so you come from Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
You migrated over there as a 12-year-old, is that right?
That's right.
You come from Russia, originally, and hence the name Glebova.
Yes.
And which part of Russia did you migrate from?
I was born in a little town by the Black Sea. It's right on the coast of the Black Sea, the very southern part of Russia. And it's
What's the name of the town?
It's called Tuapse.
Tuapse.
Yes, you got
right.
it.
Okay, so is it near Sevastopol? Where is it?
It's kind of near, but it's even more south and a little bit more west.
Very exotic place.
You know, it is quite exotic. It's a tourist destination for all of Russia, and it's very Mediterranean type of climate. It's on the sea. It's gorgeous, just beautiful sea, mountains.
Have you been back there?
Unfortunately, I haven't been back yet. I mean, I've been in school, I've been studying, I wanted to get my university out of the way, but I think this year's Miss Universe, I might get a chance to go back to Russia.
That would be very lovely. So what do you expect to find over there when you go back to your little town by the Black Sea coast?
I expect to see a lot of change. I remember it as a child. I have very fond memories of it, you know, from my childhood, very happy memories. But I just remember, I expect to see really just how much change there is, because I've heard that Russia has changed in the last 11 years dramatically.
Do you still get to speak a bit of Russian? I know that before we started the interview, you said you can still speak Russian.
I do, yes.
So at home you speak Russian. Who taught you Russian?
We speak a mix of English and Russian.
And
Russian
French?
is my first language.
No French?
No French. No.
Yeah, because Canada, Quebec,
It's
French.
right, bilingual.
All right, so you don't get to speak French, you speak English.
No, you know, when I arrived to Canada, I was learning English at the time when French was offered in school. By the time I got to high school, French was no longer offered. And
Right, but actually speaking, my fault, I should have asked you whether you speak Punjabi or not, because Toronto is more a Punjabi city than anything else. There are more gurdwaras,
Right,
there are more
exactly.
Sikh temples in Toronto than there are in some Indian cities. And it's a huge place.
right, a
as
huge
far
Indian
as
community.
the Indians are concerned. You also have been trained in classical music.
Yes, I have.
You're a classical pianist.
I've been playing piano since the age of 6.
Okay,
I
I thought
finished
3,
them.
so 6.
I finished the professional music school in Russia, and I've been playing ever since. Since I came to Canada, I've just been playing for myself. I love music. It's one of my life's passions.
And you actually get to compose music as well.
I love to do it when I have time.
And what is it that you usually end up playing?
Only classical music. That's what I've been trained in. That's what I love to
Classical
play
as
on the
in
piano.
you play the old masters.
Well, you know, it's the classics like Mozart, Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, all that.
So, which is your favorite piece? Everybody has a favorite piece.
I do.
Which is your favorite piece?
Moonlight Sonata.
The Moonlight Sonata, Beethoven's
That's
Moonlight
right.
Sonata.
It is
No?
my absolute favorite.
Right, lovely. So, do you sing it out as well? Or do you,
That
do
I
you
don't
hum it
sing.
out or what?
I don't sing,
You don't sing, you only play the
unfortunately.
piano.
Yeah.
Do you still have the time to play the piano, considering the fact that you got to...
Not a whole lot. My traveling and my Miss Universe responsibilities leave me very little time for my hobbies. But this is only for 1 year. I can continue learning to play the piano and just practicing it afterwards.
Really wonderful, wonderful. Because Moonlight Sonata is, of course, the favorite piece of a lot of people all over. In fact, I think, I don't know whether you get to see any Hindi movies at all, the sun's now over there, but I think more Hindi songs have been based on the Moonlight Sonata than on any other little tune. So that's, have you seen any Hindi movies, any Bollywood films as yet?
I haven't seen one from the beginning to end. As
But
I
you've
said,
seen
I've
bits and
seen
pieces.
some. As I've mentioned, living in Toronto, we have in the Indian community, they show pro-Indian programs on TV, they show Indian movies and music, and you know, flipping from channel to channel, or usually on Sunday mornings after the Russian program, they would have the Indian program. So I would catch little bits and pieces of an Indian movie, but I didn't have anybody to translate for me, so I couldn't watch it.
Right, and what is it like working with Sanjana?
It's wonderful. She's such a wonderful woman. She's dedicated, she's passionate, and she's talented.
Really lovely. So you are now considered the new star on the horizon of designers. Very shortly you'll be featuring on the cover of Vogue as well.
I think more than featuring on the cover of Vogue.
One of your designs, I meant, one of your dresses. And unless they decide to put you on the cover of Vogue, one never knows.
Well, for me, more than that, I think if I could get the message across, that would mean a lot more to me than getting on my clothes or myself on the cover of anything. I love fashion because I've been working with my brother and we've been working with aides, in fact, from our school days. Amphora was the first thing that we did a jewelry collection with, and it was just, I think, it was a natural transition of sorts.
And there's this lovely piece of jewelry that we've been talking about, and I think that almost gave you a crick in the neck. Can we see that by the end of this show or something?
I don't know if it's here, but I'm sure that they have it, and they have shots of it. We don't have it here, so.
Right.
But it's gorgeous, and they were.
What is it? Could you describe it for us? What this beautiful diamond armband that's been made?
Yes,
Stretches
she's
from the
better.
fingers up to the neck. Could you tell us what it is?
It's a stunning piece of jewelry. It's I don't even know what the name for it is, but it basically starts off with a beautiful ring on the finger, and it wraps around the arm all the way up until the shoulder and covers the entire shoulder. And it's all encrusted in diamonds, very beautiful, and it tells a little bit of a story. It sort of represents eternal love. It's based on that, and it tells a story of how love starts, it grows into something beautiful, and explodes into something even more beautiful, and is a happy ending.
And it's very heavy.
Very heavy, yes.
But can we talk a bit about the Miss Universe competition? Can we talk a bit about that? Did you spend a long time preparing for it? How did you decide to enter it?
I decided to enter it as a new way to challenge myself. I've always been looking for ways to grow as a person, take myself out of my comfort zone, because I believe that's the only way you'll grow as a person. And always, being a gymnast at a young age and always loving to perform.
You were a gymnast.
I was a gymnast at a young age.
And you used to play the piano.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right.
So I've always had, since childhood, always had this passion for performing and being on stage. And when I was in university, I felt that there were no extracurricular activities for me to involve myself in. And when I saw Miss Universe pageant on TV for the first time, about 3 years ago, I got really interested and thought that would be a great way for me to challenge myself, try something different, and have so much fun. And such a world-class event, so glamorous, a chance to represent my country. So I got enrolled in the Miss Universe Canada competition, and that's how it all started.
So which was the first competition that you saw on TV?
Miss Universe.
Right, and who was crowned Miss Universe that year when you saw it on TV?
Actually, interestingly, was Miss Russia.
Isn't that lovely? Isn't that absolutely lovely? And therefore, you decided if one Russian can do that, another one
Why
can do
not
it too.
Me?
That's right. This seems to be it. Now, in terms of the AIDS awareness program, we've seen so many beauty pageant winners, whether it's Miss Universe, whether it's all the other beauty pageants, come out and talk about the AIDS awareness program and apply themselves really into it. How much of a difference does it really make?
I think it's enormous. I think for the past 8 years, the Miss Universe organization has chosen AIDS awareness as their main cause. And that's something, I really connected with. I did not really understand why there was so much, involvement as far as it went initially. But once I studied, I understood that unlike other diseases like a cancer or heart attack, which you never know it's going to come, whether because of genetics or the food you eat, AIDS is something which can be prevented. And that's a big reason why we took it up. And we also realized in India, we have, I believe, more than 50% of our population is under 25, which means it is a breeding ground for an epidemic such as this. So in our little way, with somebody like a Miss Universe, who I think the girls will relate to and the boys will definitely listen to, I think this is the perfect person.
The boys will definitely look and listen to. That's right.
That makes a difference.
Right. Can we please have a close-up of Natalie over here? So, so who do you look like at home? You look like your mom, you look like dad, or...
A lot of people say I look like my mom, but to me, I think I have features of my dad. So maybe a little bit of both.
All right, girls love their fathers most of the time. So. And what does dad do?
Both of my parents are actually in the same profession. They're both computer specialists. They're software engineers.
That's really lovely. So how come you didn't end up becoming a software engineer and go on to, write a new program? Maybe float a new company, more successful than Apple and Microsoft.
I actually did major in information technology management in university. I got my degree in that. It's a Bachelor of Business, but with emphasis on computers and technology. And I did enjoy the program. My parents encouraged me to go into something very sensible and something that I could get a good job. But I realized after graduating that that's not where my passion was. And for me, the biggest thing in my life is finding your passion in life and doing
And at the moment,
something.
your passion is what?
You know what? I haven't quite found it yet, but I'm working towards it.
That's really lovely. That's I think, the most honest answer. Perhaps one of the most honest answers we've ever got from any beauty pageant winner in a long, long time. Otherwise, usually we have this pat answer which comes out. It's almost like it's there in the hard disk, and you just press that button and it comes out. But really lovely. So, what is it you plan to do after the Miss Universe reign is over? I know it's just started. You got crowned on May the 31st, but what is it that you plan to do?
I have so many different plans, and I see myself in so many different fields, and I'm happy about that because I don't want to be doing one thing for the rest of my life. I want to be involved in entertainment. Obviously, I have so many great opportunities right now to get into that. I'd like to continue my work with HIV and AIDS on a global scale, because that's also become one of my passions too, to be able to stop this disease and help, bring awareness to it. And I think I'd like to have my own business eventually too.
That's really wonderful. And by the way, one was just admiring the dress you're wearing right now. Now, who's the designer?
Well, Sanjana John has designed this lovely Indian-inspired skirt, and the top is my own.
That's really lovely. So you already have a fusion. So are you guys planning to launch a label together at some point of time?
You never know.
You never know.
So, Sanjana, we came to know that you are also related to another very dearly loved person in this country. His name, I believe, is Yeshudas. Isn't that correct?
Yes, it is. He's my uncle, and in fact, he's coming to support when we go to Kochi. We are having a very big event in Kochi, and when he heard about it, he said he's coming there and he's inaugurating the whole event out there.
The great Yeshudas himself. Absolutely
Yes.
wonderful. और हम लोग दर्शकों को बता दें यशुदास जी रिश्तेदार हैं संजना जी के, and Yeshudas is, from whatever I know, is a Marthamite Christian. Isn't that right?
Yes, Catholic.
Is he a Catholic?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was a Marthamite. Are you also Catholic?
Theirs was a love marriage.
Okay. No, so what does John stand for? John would make you...
We're Christian,
Right.
my grandfather and all
So
of
Christian
them
would be a Roman Catholic or a Marthamite or a Jacobite or a what? I mean, as far as Kerala is concerned, it's pretty well divided into
a
all these
lot of
different
sects.
categories.
Right, and I really don't know. I just know that, and I actually go to temples more than...
That's a really lovely answer. And in terms of your brother,
Yes.
Anand,
Yes.
now, could you tell us a bit about him?
Well, he's the best thing in my life. And sure, that's short and sweet. He's inspired me in doing whatever I do, and in fact, even what I do now, he's been one of the biggest supporters. Just before we left, in announcing this tour, he organized a huge event in Central Park for us in New York City on Halloween night, and he got a lot of our friends to come and support.
Like who, for instance?
Well, he had Frida Payne, and if you know,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, Frida Payne came and performed out there. We had, I would say, from the hip hop segment, we had a lot of stars come and perform and come and, Wycliffe Jean, and I mean, they're all big stars out
really
there.
Lovely.
Yeah,
so all these guys performed for you. Isn't that wonderful?
Well,
and who's coming to Kochi?
Kochi right
of course,
now.
We have
Yes,
Natalie,
of course.
Natalie Glebova herself, and who else?
And we have Salman Khan, who's a wonderful, wonderful family friend of, and actually I consider him a brother. He's coming to support, and he's going to do the AIDS walk, where we have 1 lakh school children doing our AIDS awareness walk.
And when is this event?
We have the 21st and the 22nd. So I think the school kids walk is
21st and 22nd of November.
Of November.
Right, so 21st and 22nd November, यानी सोमवार और मंगलवार को. 22nd, of course, is the day when we'll have the results of the elections as well, but we'll try and get you as much as possible on the AIDS walk at Kochi. That would be really wonderful. Now, who else apart from Salman Khan?
Well, of course, my uncle Yeshudas is going to be there. Usha Uttup is, of course, she said she's going to come and support it. We have the entire state actually coming forth and supporting it.
And isn't it also true that you're planning another big event also on AIDS awareness?
Yes, in fact, I thought to get the word across, music would be another great way. So IG International, the company, we're looking at getting a Woodstock of sorts put together. My friends are Backstreet Boys, they said they would come in. They love, and then they've been hearing a lot about what we have been doing.
So it'll be the Backstreet Boys, and who else?
Well, we've spoken to Mariah Carey. We've spoken to, of course, Paris Hilton, who's a very dear friend of ours. I've spoken to many people.
You've been designing for Paris as well? Did you get her to wear a couple of clothes of yours? Or?
Well, she's been working with us way before she started all this.
Before she became the Paris Hilton, right?
Exactly. And she's still the same Paris we knew a long time ago. And, only thing is she's become an icon right now.
That's right.
But I would love to. In fact, we're trying to get a movie project through with her. So if all comes, then definitely she will be in India at that time.
Wasn't there some other movie project also that Anand was involved in?
Yes.
Which had to do with 9/11.
Actually, it's with Paris and Anand. They were
Yeah.
shooting a documentary by a young director who won at Cannes Film Festival, Antonio Campos. Antonio was shooting, and Antonio was in school at that time when he was shooting the documentary, and it ends on the morning of 9/11. We were actually, Anand was having a show on that day, and it ends. And now 4 years later, Antonio, after winning the festival, he's going to do 4 years later, about
Right, so
9/11.
this Woodstock-style music festival, where is it going to happen?
We're looking at Bangalore's, Bangalore is the
That's
first
right.
option.
Not
and
Bombay, not Mumbai, not this beautiful city of ours?
I hope so. I mean, I'm waiting for the best options, and not from here, we don't really know. We look at people from here to
Obviously.
tell us what to do.
And Bangalore being the IT city, I think everybody would gravitate more towards that.
Yeah.
In terms of music, apart from classical music, what's the other kind of music that you listen to? You couldn't be listening to Brahms and Rachmaninoff all your life.
No, of course.
Did you get to play the Walk Through the Enchanted Forest by Rachmaninoff? Did you
No,
get to
that
play
one I didn't play, but there's
Okay.
always
Right.
time after Miss Universe when
Very
I can
hellishly
learn.
difficult piece to play. But what is the kind of modern music that you like? The music that everybody else, that all the other lesser mortals listen to. What? That kind
I
of
have
music.
always loved Mariah Carey. Always.
we
She's
all?
been my idol since I was 9 years old. I have been listening to her. She's inspired me so much. Her music has gotten me through some rough times, and to this day, I'm a huge fan.
You've had rough times.
Being a teenager, everybody goes through rough times.
All right, so
Especially, coming to a new country and starting life all over again, adjusting to a new culture and being different.
in the end, you'll go back from India. Where do you go from here?
After India,
That's right.
After India, I am continuing on to Washington, D.C. for World AIDS Day, where I'll spend a few days participating with the Global Health Council in several activities. And then I'm off to St. Martin's in the Caribbean to enjoy some sun. And then, I don't know, continuing my world tour.
And continuing to do what you like doing at the moment,
Yes,
which is possibly to find your passion.
exactly. That is the goal.
Right, absolutely wonderful. Wish you all the very best. I hope you do find your passion as soon as possible.
Thank
or
you
perhaps,
very much.
maybe it'll be much better if you don't find it at all and continue to look for it. Maybe you'll continue to enjoy life that much more. Thank you very much for talking to us, Natalie. So nice of you. Thank you very much as well, Sanjana.
Thank
So
you,
nice of you. I'm afraid that's all that we've got because that's all the time she's got. So that was Natalie Klebova and Sanjana John, both absolutely charming and wonderful ladies, right over here with us and you. Remember, you saw it right here on the RTV show. Thank you.